So today we're just gonna have a video where I talk about what is currently going on with this current state of Genshin Impact, right? I'm sure if you've been anywhere on the internet this last day or whenever I post this week, you've seen all the crazy review bombing and everything else that's going on. The anniversary stuff of Mihoyo's weird attempts at an anniversary, the weird amount of primo gems, people's opinions on Inazuma characters, and all this nonsense. And I first want to preface this by going, I don't think any of this would be happening if Mihoyo was just a bit more vocal with their community. If they were paying a bit more attention to what was like going on with their community, or at least acknowledging it as if they cared, I don't think we'd be anywhere near this situation. Now, on the flip side of this, however, we are in a different place. And by a different place, I mean, I think some members of the community have certain problems with how they handle gacha games in general. I think I'm a bit surprised in how people are surprised about many things that are going on right now. One, a big thing that's always been a part of this game since I've started back in November with this channel is people's mixed opinions on Mihoyo. So I don't understand why now, about a year in, their same speculations and things they're surprised about. I know it's not everybody, because someone's gonna go up, like, show up and go, it's not that they're surprised, they want something to do something about it. Yes, I know there are those people. But there are people who are almost genuinely surprised about either the state of the game, how Mihoyo is handling the situation, and other things like that, and didn't realize Mihoyo would typically just throw really broken characters at you so you'd shut up for a month. I don't know how that hasn't crossed anybody's mind till right now. And it's mildly funny. It's not completely funny. It's a little funny, though. Second of all, characters, right? So nobody, or at least a lot of the community, seems united on certain opinions, like Kokomi, right? Kokomi's pretty set that people just don't like her as a unit. I see people bringing up videos about how she can be useful, and in that regard, I guess there's a little bit of discourse. One thing other people really agree on is her weapon right now, or the new weapon for her, is kind of trash. It only gives you 10% up of damage versus like what the prototype can give you, and you can just craft the prototype, so why do anything other than that, right? I haven't even made my build guide, because I'm like, well, what do I even say? Because with me, Kokomi is like she's more of an all-around unit, which means she's like not really good at or she's not proficient at one thing, she's proficient at multiple things in a sense, except her damage. Damage is not really anything, right? Her goal is to enable Hydro, to heal, and then when you need to switch in, you can do this burst thing and go, ooh. Right? Now, I can see this making your life in Abyss a little bit more complicated. It takes up more time. But then we get to characters like Yoimiya, where I watch content creators destroy 12-3, 12-2, 12-1, and I have to ask, when people say that, like, the characters aren't good, where are we quantifying this? In comparison to other characters? In comparison to the timing it's needed for Spiral Abyss? Is it just because you can't do the thing you wanted to do with the character? And that also can be annoying, like with Bao and not being able to attack with Beidou. That much I can understand, right? That's just it just seems dumb. There's no reason to put the restriction on. However, people get weird with this. So, do I quantify Yoimiya now as being bad after she's done the thing that is basically the in-game content in this game? Is it about the speed of the boss being killed? Because I've seen plenty of videos where she kills majority of bosses pretty fast. Faster than Diluc, not as fast as Hu Tao. Also, another big thing, and this is also mostly on Mihoyo, people have a skewed view on what 5 stars should and shouldn't do, thanks to Mihoyo getting greedy in the beginning and throwing out characters that on paper don't make much sense on a long-term game, My chat brought up to me recently Hu Tao's C1 basically getting rid of her stamina cost with charge attacks. On what earth is that good? let me put it in like a different fashion, right? Let's put it in a different way, right? Let's say we had like a Call of Duty game, right? And you could buy the guns in the game, right? And certain people, you know, you're waiting for the gun in the game because it's gonna be better for you versus another one, right? But this is PvP, so it's gonna get worse with this example, right? We have all that, and then the next update, this new gun you made that like destroys 5 people at once or whatever, or like yeah, I don't know, like it blows up an area automatically. The next gun you come out with is a pistol. Why? Why would you introduce the first one if you knew the game needed to be here for about like what, 3 to 4 years or whatever? They want to go for a whole 10-year plan. It just doesn't make any sense. Like it just doesn't make any sense whatsoever. Ganyu, Hu Tao, Zhao, and I love Eula, but Eula a bit too. These characters have skewed the game. I mean, I have a C3 Bao, right? And she does about what, 100k? Can't do it here because obviously they're all electro, but you get the point. She does about like 100k a slash. You can make it higher. You have like Kazuha. Kazuha's a whole nother weird version of Broken himself, but people don't really mind too much because he's building damage, and the game's meta has been in damage. Here's another complaint I've heard, right? And this is just kind of me rambling. It's not really. I'm not a game developer, so I'm not gonna stick my hat in that, right? But another big complaint everybody had was, well, the content around the game is not situated for characters that are like healers, like Chi-Chi, or like Barbara, or like Kokomi. But the moment Spiral Abyss changes things for that, obviously still to push sales, do not get that wrong, there's a ton of backlash. But why? Well, one, we don't trust Mihoyo for the fact that they're going to be making content that's actually going to stick around for characters like this. But two, they're used to DPS, and most people don't know how to build characters. It was 2-part, as much as people don't want to admit that. There's a lot of people in this game who don't know how to build supports. I was one of them for a very long time because our game is so DPS focused. So the moment we needed a support, what happened? People went, oh my gosh. And it turned out you could beat the thing with Barbara. So it's not that it was difficult content, it's just that people didn't know what to do until, again, mostly their content creators showed them what to do. And it's another big thing too. People have, for some reason, and I've always said this in my streams, taken the role of content creators. So I wish more content creators did this, and I do it typically, and I need to do it more with my my pool videos, but I always do it on stream. I tell people I'm a content creator, so when I'm doing all these pools, yeah, I'm probably also just kind of down bad. But two, I'm a content creator. I'm getting this new character because I know you'll be interested in seeing them. That's about it. If you're not a content creator, hold your wallet. There's no such thing as pulling for pity. It's just not a thing. Like everybody always says it, but it's not a thing, right? It's made up so you can feel better about your pulls and justifications for it, right? Again, I guess I'll get back on the Mihoyo part towards the end of this, but yeah, no, it's just a bit weird because I don't think people actually seem to know what they actually want out of this game. I think they're just repeating a lot of information they see. And it's not that it's not valid information. I just don't think a lot of people know what they're literally asking for sometimes. It's like when people are like, man, this game's content, the end game content's done. Well, then I have to ask the question, one, how many gacha games have you finished within the first year? Because that's really important. If I say how many gacha games have you finished, people will bring up stuff like, well, Arknights has a ton of, and within the first year have you finished? I recently started the Konosuba game. I was thinking about whether or not I wanted to post that, but I've already gotten through all the content. It took me about a month to get through all the content, and I'm not surprised because it's been in for about a month. Most games, how much are like most, here's a question, right? If I play Final Fantasy VII Remake right now, how many hours do I expect to get out of that game? You know? I'm a big Dynasty Warriors fan, so all my games have always been repetitive to a sense. Do you think I'd have a little bit more, I guess I do have more tolerance for it. You think I'd have more tolerance for it, right? Because there's only so much replayability from it. There's only so much you can do with one game. a lot of times, with a lot of Genshin players, it sounds like we don't have any other games going on. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing. You're free to just enjoy Genshin Impact as it is. But if I'm going to be realistic with you, I don't see you having hours and hours and hours and hours of content. Like, to some degree, you already do. But to the number people want, I just don't think so. Not on the first year. You got unlucky. The people, it's like Hanukkah Impact right now, right? If I go to play Hanukkah Impact, that game's got tons of content for me to play. I can't get through it all. The leveling system in that game is kind of trash to me. But like, I got forever. You're on the first month or first year of a really popular game, and we've gotten 3 continents. You realize the way Mihoyo sees this, right, is people are going to rage. Hopefully you guys' raging will actually do something. I'm with you on that part. But let me show you what might happen. Mihoyo's going to realize you're all raging, and then they're going to go, what happened in Hanukkah Impact the last time we had some sort of rage outlet? I'm sure it wasn't to this degree, but I'm sure they've had some. They go, oh, we just wait like a year or 2. Then all those people leave, and we'll just have more content later. And all the new people won't know anything that happened. They'll go, oh, man. Oh, this game's got so much content. It's almost like this game's been out for 2 years. That's just wonderful. And they'll forget about you. It's what it is. Like, I don't know how to be more honest with you. That's probably what it's going to be. Now, the one good thing that people have going for them right now is Genshin Impact's so high regarded in public discourse that all this negativity could keep it in the eye of the general public. Because it's so propped up versus like other gacha games where they can kind of hide their bad years and say otherwise. But then again, it's how seriously other people take that once they get into the game, right? Because the one thing I've seen a ton more of recently, and even on my own videos, especially with monetized videos, is the Genshin ads. I've been seeing a ton of Genshin ads. Those have been showing up like all over the place. So in my mind, I'm just like, well, those are the new players that are going to come and replace the players this week. People seemed really 50-50 on the story for Inazuma, and I had my gripes with parts of the writing as well. But the issue is that it wasn't had it had a stronger backlash of everybody being like, oh, the story's trash, then I feel like there'd be more being done. But because everyone was like, oh, it just had kind of bad parts, you know? Like, we missed out on certain characters, but I really enjoyed this part, and that part. That's just going to count as good publicity. It won't be counted as negative publicity. They're just going to go, wow, you see, well, people like this whole half of the story. It was great to them. Don't let those other people fool you. They loved it. So, in that regard, I don't really see as much happening either, except whether or not the storytellers have a serious passion for it and get, like, you know, bothered by the fact that people thought the story wasn't as great. So, I don't know. Not trying to be too pessimistic. I think this is kind of my nature, though, so I just like to point out the obvious, and also me pointing out the obvious might help somebody better, or make their argument a bit better for these kind of things, or at least put things in people's minds that they have not thought about. I see there's a lot of like very intelligent people leading these charges, right? Or you'll see people who actually do theory crafting for like the internal cooldown argument with Yoimiya. Or recently some dude made like a whole guide about Kokomi, and he brought up the fact that she's a decent unit. The issue is that her investment's like weird and her design is all over the place. So the arguments are sound, right? But the issue sometimes becomes when the mob starts leading it instead of those people who are trying to give the right wording for these people. It just becomes a lot of yelling and less articulate, which is ironic because I cannot seem to articulate my words right now. So you get a lot of people going, this game sucks, versus right now the internal cooldown doesn't make much sense. Why is the bug still here? Like someone brought up today on Reddit the fact that there's still a bug with Shinyan that's been here since the beginning of the game, and I remember that bug. And my brain was like, wow, yeah, they're right. Also, again, so we get on the Mihoyo part, right? So, with all that said, I did say it in the beginning because I wanted to make sure that everybody knew my opinion, but we'll see how many people stuck along for this. Mihoyo is doing a terrible job at this, right? PR doesn't make any sense right now because there's not really any loss. Giving out free stuff would only keep more people around. Dealing with the problems that are in-game, like Beto and I working together and other things like that, would only make people happier because it would say you're listening. It's like, take it from Strive right now. I love Guilty Gear Strive. You know, the other reason why I love Guilty Gear Strive? The company listened to us. They heard all the complaints we had, and the first thing they did was immediately address it. They went to Twitter, started going, hey guys, we know how you feel about so-and-so attack, blah, blah, blah attack, whatever else. The lobby system, they didn't change the lobby system, but they were at least trying to hear us out about it. And other things. Their first regard was making sure that the player base and also content creators felt good. One big thing they did was they specifically set out guidelines basically for content creators. The moment the game came out, they immediately pointed out like, hey, we're not getting on people with copyright because of whether or not you're playing the game or whether or not you're playing the song on stream or whatever else. We just are going after people who are just replaying the song for monetary value. They give us a whole guide of what you can do. Your games are completely fine. The moment they felt trouble in their game, they went to try to ease the tension. And that's the one thing Mihoyo never does, because they know that they'll get money out of people. And it's another reason why I'm going to be holding people to a standard. We'll see how many of you guys don't come back when the Hutao rerun comes back. And that's not a jab at you. I just really want to see how many people are going to stick to their guns when they say these things. I'm not as bothered by everything, so I don't really have much reason to go. I liked the story. Kokomi as a unit doesn't disappoint me, I guess. I loved playing Yoimiya. I'm sad I don't have her, but I wanted to save for Ai because, you know, Lightning Brigade and stuff. And I've been waiting for Ai since she was announced. That's another big thing with the community. One reason why people don't always take the community seriously is, again, the 50-50 opinions. Before Ai came out, everybody was like, her design is absolute trash. Now she's Bulbasaur lady that everybody loves. You know? The first week she came out, the first thing everybody said was, she's trash. Her damage isn't much. They did it with Ayaka too. So when they do that with characters that are decent, but then also do it with characters like, let's say Yoimiya is bad. I'll give it to you, right? Let's just say she's bad. If you keep conflating your opinions with multiple characters like this, nobody's going to listen to you. Because they think you're full of it. They think every time you open your mouth, it's only because, well, I don't know whether or not this character is good yet. We don't wait days or at least a week. It'd be better off to have content creators like, because X-Slice does a really good job, I'd say, at his opinions with these characters. And even he says he wouldn't recommend Kokomi. But letting bigger names start the voice for the community before they all just go nuts. Because you're all just going in a bunch of different directions. And whenever anybody new shows up, they just go, ooh, I like the game. I'm just going to stay away from the Reddit because they're not giving me any good information. They just like to yell about things. And you might be completely valid. But that's the way that the community has shown themselves. I don't even know what this will do. I highly doubt this will get any views, but if it does, I'm pretty sure it won't be in the positive light. I just don't care. But it doesn't help. And so, again, I was back on Mihoyo. Okay, so, Konosuba game, right? Konosuba game. I just played it, right? I've beaten the entire game. You know what they gave me yesterday when after I beat the entire game? About like a 10,000 crystals or whatever. Each wish in that game is about 300. So I have, I think it was 30 wishes or so for free just for playing the game. You know, it's just there. I'm not a spender in the game, so you can still call me a freeloader, but I'm sure that's going to keep the community who has spent money in the game staying happy because you basically... you've done the, what is the effect? It's a business effect. I don't know if it's the razor and, is it the razor and blades effect? Where you give a person a razor and then the blades afterwards they have to pay for it, right? Reciprocation. So you give me 30 Primo Gems. Well, now I can, when I make that $60 purchase, I go, well, they already gave me 30. I can now make it this much. They gave me 30 already. So, nah. I just don't know sometimes, you know? People have a habit of, it always baffles me when I tell my stream, we'll get a new content or whatever else, like Inazuma, and they'll blow through it in a week. Do they have to artificially... I don't even know where I'm going with this anymore. This has all just become like a weird tangent video. People played Inazuma and then got done with everything in a week. when Dragon Spine came out. What happened with Dragon Spine? I'm gonna leave. We're just gonna go stand. So I don't want to be in Spiral anymore right now. We got to Dragon Spine, and within a week, everybody was done with all the content in the game. Like we were finished. Nobody had anything to do because they waited a day to get everything done in the game, and then we're like, oh man, I have no content, and I have to ask, like, what are some long-term content people they could add in here that can even handle those people? Because usually, not in this regard, with the Inazuma one, it's a bit of most of the community, not just these people. But a lot of the times when this kind of stuff happens, the people who are leading the charge in this are the people who will be done with these content in about 2 days, even though they're not doing content creation, or they're like, I don't know what they do. I don't know what they're doing, and I don't want to just be a rude person where they're like, oh, they got no life. Like, if you need to sit inside all day and the game's the only thing that's helping you, then I can understand. I just don't know what you're expecting. And I think that's the part that's baffling me the most. We already had our problems with Mihoyo when we started the game. People were already upset about content. All this stuff isn't new. That's the other part that's crazy to me. We're in the same place, but with more content. When I started this game, there was no Dragon Spine, there was no housing place, the Golden Archipelago never existed. Inazuma was that thing content creators brought up every week in order to get you excited to watch more of their content. The characters we had were a little less OP because I got here right when Zhong Li was here. The community was raging about characters. Mihoyo wasn't listening until there was a lot of backlash. It's just nothing new, you know? And that's everybody's big complaint with the game, but then I'm just like, then why don't, like, go play Strive? This is why I have other games. Again, I think my big thing, I guess my position with this is I don't expect that they're going to do anything. I expect they're going to wait 2 years for the game to basically manage itself after they've done enough content. And then with the new people they get, because again, you have to think about it this way, right? People who are starting the game right now don't have that 6-month long wait I had while getting to Inazuma. They have Inazuma now. They have Inazuma characters to wait for in reruns now. Right? They have the old Liwa characters who are absolutely broken to wait for now. All the weapons now. All the ways to get Primo, so like housing Primo, story Primo, unlocking the Abyss Primo, all those kind of different ways to get it, because there's only more and more as we've gone on. Now, they're going to have better events than you. The Tower, Theater, Aventus, Art Knights, whatever, is going to be better than yours. You know why? Because they started now. And then in about a year or 2 years, unless you guys do some serious damage, I guess now-ish, and I don't think that's going to happen, even with the review bombing, this is all going to go under the rug in about 2 years. Or a year, possibly. It's just what it is. It's like with the anniversary events. Yes, you guys brought up a lot of good ideas, but they were ideas. And then the other thing is people's ideas became the mainstream. And then content creators started showing people's ideas for the mainstream. I get it's for the fact of trying to give the company something to do. But again, as most of these content creators have told me, they don't really trust the company that much. So why? Other than good faith. And good faith is nice, but good faith is also kind of foolish at times. It makes you naive in that regard. So I don't know. It's all so confusing. I'm just sitting here and like, is he catching here? Imagine catching sitting here. You know that meme where it's like everything's fine. Imagine there's not a fountain here. There's like 100 players and everything's on fire. Just keep that in your imagination while I'm going here. But I know it's gonna rain in like 2 weeks. So here's the thing, right? We're having rerun banners come out, and we're also probably gonna have Yai, because Yai's the last character. Yai is like a super waifu in the story. There's a reason why they spent so much time on her. You know the reason why? Because they have her imprinted in your brain. You have familiarity with that character. So when people see her, not only is she wada thick or whatever, right? They're gonna see her and go, oh my gosh, that was that character I really wanted. Oh, but I said I was on strike for Genshin for a week. It's almost like they were planning for the backlash and they knew what was gonna happen. But I really want Yai. I'm just gonna play for like 2 days or so. and then they'll be back. You know? Again, it's really how much I'm hoping Mihoyo will look at the reviews and go, maybe we should take some time to actually listen to the community, or else they'll go crazy. Or maybe we should just, you know, make weekly updates or monthly updates like most games do, and not the ones we do where we put it on Mihoyo Labs in the background. Go actually talk with your community. When you're on Twitter, don't ignore all the tweets you're getting, other than, you know, the give me primo now, please. You know, friggin' tweets. When there's serious quotes from like creators and things like that, actually talk about them. Invite some creators to talk about them. Have a live stream chat with them. Let's not even remember the 2.1 live stream. That was weird. And that was a big Inazuma event. That was so weird. And then all the friggin' voice actors got hate on them for the company, which is jacked up. That's the other part too, is when people do the things like attack voice actors, people that have nothing to do with the major higher ups in business in Mihoyo, it just makes the community look like a bunch of yelling children, which I'm gonna guess is probably 40%, 40 to 60 to 70% of the community. And it's just like, what do you think's gonna happen? I guess I told myself today I should probably put some, you know, opinion into this piece. Probably good for views. I don't know. We'll see what this does. I don't know if I even got to all my points. You're free to rant in the bottom. Again, I'm not mad at most of the people in my community, because, like, I think there's a lot of people who are just genuinely upset with the way that the company's been handling this stuff, right? I just know, like, there's so many people. There's such a vocal group of people who are not helping, or the mob is going crazy with the mob mentality thing, where they see other people doing stuff, so they start running out to just be a part of something without actually really know what's going on. My one big complaint for myself is I wish people were a bit more consistent on what makes like a good character. People are more consistent on what is broken and not broken in the game. Like, I hate hearing content creators being like, oh my gosh, all the old Leeway characters are broken, and then be like, oh, but we need all the characters to be exactly like that. Well, you just said they're broken. So why would I be surprised when Mihoyo tones it down a bit? You know? They're trying to make sure that you don't remember the old broken characters. It's dumb, because that's not going to work when you rerun banner them every 5 seconds to try to get people's money. But what am I expecting? I'm expecting now that I need to use my supports. I need to use other characters to make this character good, other than just damage boost. Bennett Fist. Damage boost. We're done. You know what I mean? There are other things like weird jankiness that I can still understand. But then it's like with the Yoimiya situation. Yoimiya's ult doesn't seem that good. I'll stay on that with that. But her auto attacks and stuff, again, she was clearing 12. Pretty easy. She does about, with some people's Yoimiya, is about, what, like 10k a shot? That's good. The thing that doesn't make that good is the spiral wasn't set up for her. It's for her, right? But then when spiral was set up for Kokomi, people were then upset. Now, you could say it's because Kokomi is worse built, and they're doing that for money. But then the issue is, with the argument you had beforehand, is you thought Yoimiya was worse built, but you were upset that the spiral wasn't set up for her in order to get more primos. Where are we going with this? I'm probably unironic or unintentionally strawmanning some arguments, because again, this is just me doing this off the top of my head. Probably. I don't think I'm infallible. I think this is just me talking about something that I'm just sitting here going, wow, what is going on anymore? Again, I'm not in some serious like, oh my gosh, Genshin's on fire. I'm more like, well, here we go for this month. Yai or Hu Tao's gonna show up, and then everyone's gonna forget for about another month. And then when we have dry content or another kind of character, people are gonna go, this is why I've always hated the game. And I don't know. I don't know what people are expecting with in-game content. I don't know what people are expecting out of their characters anymore. I don't know. I guess story-wise, at least story's been pretty consistent. Just make the writing make more sense. That's been great. At least everybody can kind of be on accord with that one. There were really good moments in that story, but like Kokomi got no moments. I feel like the Kokomi plot we had with her story should have been in the 2.1 plot. So that way we could have had something going on there, at least understood her, how tired she was, or whatever else. With I feel like her in-game story, or the quest we go on with her, specifically just in her character story, should have been at the end of 2.1 before they just go, oh, I disband the Vision Hunt decree. Have her go outside, have her see her world, and then make her go, nah, I think I can hold back on the Vision Hunt decree. You know, like I really love that character, but yeah, some parts of that are silly. Or like the Resistance just showing up at her door, regardless if they knew we were there. You know, that was just weird. They were just there. Kazuha was just there. It was a great moment. Still loved it. But she was just there. Or they were just there. You set up Beidou being there and other characters, but it's just for hype. It's just for a tease. Just so people pull more Beidou again. You know? It's weird. And then with Sumeru, I can see a way that Sumeru might kick the bucket of Genshin, but I'm not gonna talk about that. Just know I'm thinking about it, right? Just know I have something. So if I go, I knew it. Just try and trust I'm not lying to you. We'll see if I post this. This might just be a rant that ends up sitting on my computer. But hopefully your days in Genshin Impact aren't gonna be so crazy. Hopefully if you're watching this video, you know I'm not just like mocking you or anything like that. I genuinely do think Mihoyo could do better right now, okay? The anniversary rewards, they could have been more generous. They could be talking to their community more. They could be looking out for bugs. They could be trying to fix things. So I'm trying to nerf everything. Wait, here's gonna be the conflicting part. So I'm trying to nerf everything that people find as an exploit, right? If it's just something that's in the game and it's not doing major harm, just leave it be, all right? And with bugs that are, fix them. Now, at the same time, people are going to kind of disagree with me on this one. I don't know if we need a ton more Ganyus. However, Mihoyo, you've done the damage by making these characters in here, and they're permanent. If you make them unpermanent, you're going to... Oh my gosh, do not pull the pin on that grenade. Yeah, no. I just don't know what people are expecting. Can we have more consistency on what makes a good character? Try to develop more in-game content. Leave some of the events to stay. You know, a lot of these things won't do too much harm, or make like not demo versions of it, but like give us a Spiral Abyss that's just tower defense with the tower mechanicus, but it's just like 3 default levels. It's not the big event that we have every year. It's just so people can play it when they want to. They can just have fun doing it. Keep some of the wind bloom stuff. They can go up. You can go up with your friends and jump off the balloon again, just to see who can get the most points. Have some like you can make PvP games that are not PvP fighting. Absolutely. Please, oh God, do not make PvP in this game. I think that would do horrible for this game. People can barely handle other people having characters they don't have, or characters they just dislike. Do not make it PvP in that regard. Have the hide and seek be something that stays around, just for things you can play with your friends for fun. Make like a concert hall so people can play music in, or like how we had with the Wind Bloom effect, where you're just, you know, Osuing the game. I don't know. All right, I think I'm gonna end it here. That has been my spiel rants. I still need to eat today and whatever else. Again, if it was me being delirious, oh well. Hopefully you enjoyed me rambling. I don't think this is gonna go anywhere. I don't think it's gonna help anybody. I think it's just gonna be me talking to myself. Or if it does get popular, it's just gonna be a bunch of mean comments. And again, I don't care. So at least I'll be able to laugh for the rest of the day. All right, peace, lady, breathe, see you.